What's up, everybody? It's Alex from Heavy New York, invading Ohio for Incarceration Festival 2019, and we are here with Chris of Stabbing Westward.
How's
Thank
it going?
you for your time.
How crazy is this place?
It's insane.
Yeah,
I never thought I would enjoy being in jail.
Yeah, it's. We haven't gone inside yet. I'm excited. We're gonna go inside and do some band pictures and make it look all spooky. But yeah, it looks insane.
You should go to the active part of the prison.
Is it with the what?
Apparently, there's a part of the prison that's still active.
Oh yeah, no, I'm good with that. Yeah, no, I don't need to get shanked or anything. We're good.
But it's so awesome to have you here. Being that the last record, Stabbing Westward, came out in 2001, the self-titled one. I was in first grade.
I don't even really
when that
refer to that as our last record. That was sort of an unwanted child. Darkest Days was our last record. I'm just kidding.
But I heard that you're working on some new music now.
Yes.
You just want to give a rundown on like what we could be expecting on the record and how it's been so far with making
it?
it?
Yeah. So we're doing a new album now. It's pretty much written. We're just doing the final production on it. It's going to be kind of where Darkest Days left off, which is one of our heaviest records. It's back to sort of the old school industrial rock style that we were before, it's still Stabbing Westward, a little bit more mature themes, but not really. It's not really that much more mature. It's like the same general premise. Yeah.
Is it sort of kind of like picking up where you left off, or is it being that this is the first record since you guys reunited that like it kind of just feels like a fresh start?
It's a bit of both. We wanted to make sure that it sounds and feels like a Stabbing Westward record. So Walter and I were the original founders of the band, and we sort of always believed that if he and I wrote the songs together, that it would be Stabbing Westward. And then we did a Dreaming record together, which was my other band, and I realized that you can put on different hats for different bands and create different sounds and different moods. And when we started working on this one, we said, let's make sure that everything that we do has that Stabbing Westward sort of signature sound to it. So we went back and, we're touring now, and we're playing songs off of all 3-4 records. So we're able to sort of remember and digest that original, like what we did in 1994 that made us sound like what we sound like. And so we're going back and redoing some of that, but at the same time, the process of being in a band for all those years with all the different members coming and going, the original vision that Walter and I had of being this sort of Wax Trax industrial, before industrial turned into metal, like before Ministry went metal.
Yeah, and Fear Factory,
and
Static
all that,
X,
and
Rammstein.
Stuff like that to me was never, that's metal. That was never industrial. Industrial was Nine Inch Nails, Skinny Puppy,
Throbbing Gristle.
Exactly. It was electronics,
Frontline
and
Assembly.
then some people would add a guitar, and that was cool. And then the guitars started to take over, and in Stabbing Westward, that thing sort of happened where slowly but surely we went from being an industrial band with a guitarist to a rock band with keyboards. And I think one of our goals on this record is to try and go back to that spirit of the two 16-year-old kids from downstate Illinois that would like buy vinyl records from Wax Trax and have to wait for them to be shipped from Chicago, and then he'd call me like, I got it, and I'd run over to his house and we would like, put on two pairs of headphones with splitters and listen to the record together and be like, how did they get that sound? There was like an excitement back then because they were creating music that had never been done before, and it wasn't like, like you like Journey, and then a new REO Speedwagon record comes out and it sounds exactly like Journey but with different words or whatever. This was like people literally creating new forms of music that had never been done before, and it was like groundbreaking, and to us it was just mind-blowing. And while it's not groundbreaking today to hear the same sort of stuff, it's like to go back and revisit that and to try and capture that sense of like, wow, this is really cool. I've never heard that before. That's kind of what we're trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I could be a bit of a poser when it comes to industrial, but like, I hear industrial, I think of Land of Rape and Honey. Mind is a terrible thing to taste.
Right. I even think of
machine.
Twitch before that. So
really?
Twitch is like what I think of as industrial.
Yeah, and it's so weird because like people have referred to a band like Static X or Fear Factory or Rammstein to be industrial. It's industrial metal.
They were the next. Yeah. So industrial, like all genres, it starts off as a seed and it branches into a tree, and it's got all these different branches of pure electronic, pure noise, industrial metal, pop industrial rock like Stabbing Westward and Gravity Kills and bands like that. I mean, we became radio industrial, so it's not like I've got some thoroughbred industrial I'm a mudblood for sure.
Yeah.
But
Well, being that Stabbing Westward has an industrial side, a rock side, a metal side, and you mentioned there's many different vibes and many different emotions. It's
Right.
clear Stabbing Westward isn't a band that you don't really have like a formula that you abide by or an underlying armature that all your music follows. You guys like to experiment and
Yes.
completely try new things, right?
I have discovered that I do have a formula. When we did this record, I wrote 10 songs, and then they were just really raw, and I sent them over to Walter, and he started to produce them into individual tracks. And he's like, can I add some sections to these? Because you literally go intro, synth melody, verse, chorus, re-intro, verse, chorus, some sort of a throwdown bridge, small verse, double chorus, then the intro comes in again at the outro, but louder. And he's like, it's a great way to write a song, but can we maybe just, I'm like, yes, dude, I basically write on an acoustic guitar. So it's just like, this is the song. But he's like, yeah, you've definitely got this thing that you just feel. And it's a funny feeling, because I'll be writing and I'll be struggling with the part, and then all of a sudden I'll do something like, oh, that feels so right. That's what should be there. And then I go back and listen later, like, well, that's because that's what I did 15 other times on 15 other songs. So yeah, I think everyone, after this many albums, you start to realize, if you listen to 9 Inch Nails, you can immediately, if you had somebody else sing 10 9 Inch Nails songs, not Trent, you would still know that the same person had written those songs.
Yeah. And if you listen to 10 seconds of a 9 Inch Nails song, you could tell that's off Pretty Hate Machine, that's off Downward Spiral, that's off With Teeth, etc.
Right, yeah. So everyone's got their way that they hear music sound correct. And sometimes Walter will knock me out of my comfort zone, and he'll do something, and I'll be like, well, that doesn't sound right at all. He's like, good,
let's do it.
Good.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. And I have one more question for you, if that's cool. Because when it comes to an industrial style band, as somebody who has seen 9 Inch Nails and Ministry and Three Teeth and a lot of these great industrial bands like Combi Christ, like, they are a completely different experience seeing them live than to just listen to them through a pair of headphones.
As they should.
Yeah. For you, do you try to execute the material exactly how people are hearing the music on the album, or do you intentionally like to make the live presence completely different than when you're in your studio or practice space?
When the Dreaming, my other band, was playing Stabbing Westward songs, I made them sound very different. I put them in the key that I was more comfortable singing in. I sped most of them up. I simplified some of the riffs and made them more electronic. In Stabbing, when we switched from the Dreaming back to Stabbing, Walter felt that people would want to hear the songs as they were on the album. Now, granted, when you hear them live, if we tried our absolute hardest to make them sound like the album, they still would never sound exactly like the album. So it still sounds loose and live and energetic.
Especially when you're in an outdoor festival like this.
But he thought we should keep the arrangements pretty much the same, he dug up all the old ADAT tapes that the original backing tracks were on, and he gave them to me to make tracks out of, and they float in and out of time so much that it's hard to get them on a hard Pro Tools grid because it was on tape, and the tape stretched over 20 years. But we're trying to keep it sounding as much like the album as possible, because he's noted when he goes to see shows and they play his favorite song and it doesn't sound, if it takes you to the second chorus to realize they're playing your favorite song, then they've changed it too much.
Ooh, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, but when I saw 9 Inch Nails in Vegas, when they did their Vegas residency, he changed up I Just Want Something I Can Never Have, and the way he did it was awesome. It was cooler, it was more musical. Not that the original wasn't, in my opinion, perfect. It was like one of the most perfect songs ever written, but he managed to elevate it live by having just more parts and more layers, and you still knew it was the song, but it was a better version of the song, and I actually really appreciated that.
Of course. So before we go, I'd like to thank you so much for your time today.
Oh, no worries, man.
Yep. Enjoy the visit to the prison.
Yeah, I'm excited. I hope we get some good pictures.
Yep. Is there just when can we be expecting the new Stabbing Westward record? And is there just any touring that's coming up that you would like to promote, or any shout-outs you'd like to give?
We're coming to the East Coast in September.
My birthday.
Yeah. We're gonna. I don't know where we're gonna be. I think DC, Harrisburg, and maybe New York. And then we're doing some Midwest dates this summer. We're mostly touring on the weekends because I got 2 little kids at home, 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. So Daddy has to be home to take them to school and stuff.
I think they understand that their daddy has to rock.
Yes, well, his name is Gibson Marshall, so he better understand.
You are father of.
That's a pretty cool name, I think.
Yeah, awesome. Well, and we could be expecting the new record fairly soon.
Halloween or Christmas. I mean, we don't have a ton of time to work on it, so we kind of just do it as we go.
Okay. That sounds good. Well, thank you
We're
so
all
much.
looking over there like there's a ghost over in the corner.
Well, thank you so much, Chris.
Pleasure, man. Nice
Everybody,
talking to you.
we are here with Chris of Stabbing Westward. New music coming very soon, and cast them on their up-and-coming tours. This is Alex from Heavy New York, Incarceration 2019, and we'll see you next time.